We'll start with the prayers. Om Bhadram Karne Vishruniyama Deva Bhadram Pashye Bhakshathiryajatraha Stirairangaihi Stuštuvagum Sastanovihi Vyasheva Devahitam Yadayuho Swastira Indro Vriddashavaha Swastina Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti nastakshorarishthanevihi Swasti no brihaspati'r dadato Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Mundaka Upanishad by Swami Vidyaranya. In chapter 6 of Anubhuti Prakasha. We have covered 57 verses. Today we are going to start with the 58th verse. And this explanation of Swami Vidyaranya is a very unique one for Mundaka Upanishad. In about 100 verses, he gives the essence of the entire Upanishad, not from the revelation of what the Upanishad wants to say, but with reference to how I, as a seeker, should understand the Upanishad. See, the Upanishad reveals something very unique in this world. Very, very unique, which no sensory perception or mind can ever know without the assistance of the Upanishads. Seekers can know it after studying the Upanishads. But without the Upanishads, a normal layman will not know the secret of what this creation is. The methodology adopted in this Upanishad is Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya Jivo Brahmaiva Na Paraha. That is the famous statement of Shankaracharya. Whenever we study any Upanishad, any spiritual text, we must keep this statement at the back of our mind. Brahma Satyam. Brahma Satyam means there is something called as Brahman in this universe. Initially, Brahman is described as remote, something far away. There exists something called as Brahman. That is the first step of the teaching in every Upanishad. And then they give descriptions of this Brahman. In different Upanishads, they describe Brahman. Keno Upanishad says it is the ear of the ear, the mind of the mind, the eye of the eye. Mandukya Upanishad says it is not what you're conscious of externally. It is not what you're conscious of internally. It is not unconscious. These are all descriptions of Brahman. Taittiriya Upanishad says it is beyond the Annamaya Kosha, Pranamaya Kosha, Vijnanamaya Kosha, Manomaya Kosha. Kaivalya Upanishad says it is from which the entire creation comes. It exists and it resolves. So as a seeker, when I study all these verses, all these statements, these are all what is called as statements giving the description of something unique which our sense organs cannot perceive, but it exists. So the first step I should understand is there is something called Brahman which exists in this world of this nature. And I must be convinced that it is existing, not that, casually accepting it. No, you have to 100% accept it as the truth. That is what is called as Shraddha in our scriptures. Faith. Faith in what the scriptures are teaching me about me and the world. So in this Upanishad, the knowledge of this Brahman is called as Paravidya. The same concept is used in 7th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, Paraprakriti, Aparaprakriti. So this knowledge of Brahman is Paravidya. The knowledge of everything else apart from Brahman is Aparavidya. So what could be the other knowledge? The other knowledge is knowledge of Anatma. Knowledge of Atma or Brahma Vidya is Paravidya. Knowledge of Aparavidya is Anatma knowledge, which Anatma consists of what? It consists of my body, my mind, and the world which I experience. Be very clear in this. Atma, Anatma. Atma is my real nature. Anatma is what I'm taking as the nature of mind today. This body is me, this mind is me. And this world which I see is experienced by me, and it is the truth, it is the ultimate truth. That is my current understanding. Upanishads wants to change this concept in our mind, and it says, understand there is Brahman. And second lesson from the Upanishad is, your real nature is Brahman. This is a huge leap for any intellect to absorb. That is why they recommend consistent study of the Upanishads for a length of time, maybe 3-4 years. You study different Upanishads. Let the idea sink into the intellect more and more. As you understand the knowledge, as it goes deep into your subconscious mind, every intellect will accept the truth. And the moment you say and you're convinced that Aham Brahma Asmi is the ultimate truth, this is what Upanishads wants to make me reveal my nature to myself. So when I understand this truth, initially, yes, that is what we have studied up to verse number 57. Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. Brahma Satyam means I, the consciousness, existence principle, is Satyam. It is immortal. And the entire Anatma is Mithya, Jagan Mithya. Mithya means it is experienceable, it has got transactability, and it has utility. ETU. Experienceability, transactability, utility. World has got these three factors. It can be experienced, it is in the world, we do all transactions, and it has got utility. It keeps my body alive, it helps me to go through the experiences, and that is the purpose of the world. In this world, the sense organs perceiving the sense object is a normal thing. It is Ishvara Srishti. But when my mind reacts to the world, that is what is called as Jiva Srishti, and that is what is called as Samsara. Eyes are seeing a beautiful rose, that is not samsara. That is a normal, almost 80-90% of our experiences are just the transactions between the sense organs and the sense objects throughout our life. But in between these transactions, we experience joy and sorrow. That experience of joy and sorrow is called as samsara. Sometimes very painful experiences are there, sometimes happy experiences are there. That constitutes the Jiva Bhava. Now that Jiva Bhava has to dissolve into Brahma Bhava. So the change which happens is in the intellect. It is not outside in the world. It is in our intellect the change happens after the study of Upanishads. Very, very subtle process happens. To help this process, almost all Upanishads, they prescribe something called as Upasana and Nididhyasana. Upasana is practiced before you get the knowledge, the term Upasana. Upasana means meditation before knowing about the existence of Brahman and so on. Nididhyasanam is the same type of mental exercise, but after receiving the knowledge of Mahavakyam. Mahavakyam says, Aham Brahma Asmi, Tattvamasi. I am Atma Brahma. These are all the statements of the Upanishads. It tells me you are Brahman. That Brahman is you, your inner self. This Atma, this Aham in me is Brahman. I use this word Brahman very often, and that is the term used in all the Upanishads. A very important principle we should understand when we want to realize the nature of our own self. In Tattva Bodha, we have been taught there are three bodies: Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, Karana Shariram. I am now giving you a slight peep into Brahman. Understand this very subtle teaching, but try to understand this. In our waking state, we are identified with this physical body, Sthula Sharira. We experience the physical world, Sthula Prapancha. One realm of experience. Second realm of experience, Sukshma Shariram, Sukshma Prapancha. Sukshma Shariram means what? I experience some transactions, which is the dream state. The third state is the very important state in Vedanta. That is the gateway to Brahman. Not easily understood when we are learning Tattva Bodha. But when we come to advanced texts and Upanishads, you should understand this Karana Sharira. Karana Sharira is a body. It is not physical. It is not mental. but it is made up of ignorance, darkness, tamas. This is experienced in the sushupti avastha, sleep state. So all human beings and animals, we all go through three avasthas: Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. In the Sushupti avastha, the objects are not mental objects like in dream. They are not physical objects like in waking, but it is total ignorance, tamas. And that is what is called as undifferentiated state, in which the whole world is in a seed form, potential form. The potential form, in that potential form, there are no differences. No differences between body and mind and the world. No differences between me and my son or daughter. There is no son, there is no daughter. In the sleep state, everything is resolved. They call it pravilapanam, resolution. This Brahman, which is taught in all the Upanishads, is the sakshi of that state of ignorance. It is a sakshi of the state of knowledge in the waking state. It is the sakshi of ignorance in the sleep state. That is the ultimate pada. It is called as Turiya Pada, Chaturtha Pada. We are not aware of this. It is the Upanishads which reveal this to me. And then it's, so when I take these steps and understand in this way, as described in the Upanishads, then I can understand what is Brahman. Brahman is me, myself, and which is an independent state. It can exist by itself. And in that state, the experience of the world are not there. There is only singularity, undifferentiated condition. So as Sakshi, I am seeing the potential condition which is called as Maya, Avyakritam, unmanifest, Maya, Prakriti. These are all the names of the same Sushupti Avastha. From that state of Sakshi is imperishable. That is what this Upanishad is talking about. You are that. Shaunaka is asking, can you teach me one knowledge by which I can know the entire universe? So this is that knowledge of Brahman. And keeping that as the goal, we have to practice Omkara meditation. I have introduced to you this whole topic matter of the three states and how to have a glimpse of that Brahman as my own nature, so that when I learn today how to meditate or how to do Nididhyasanam, I can understand the subject matter. With this short introduction, let me now go to the 58th verse. 58th verse to 63 verse, 63rd verse. 6 verses. They all talk about pranava meditation. As we go through these verses, you will understand what exactly is Omkara. Omkara is called as Pranava. And then after the 63rd verse, Vidyaranya will teach us what are the benefits we get when we do this type of meditation. In the 58th verse, these are all simple verses. If you understand this, it'll be quite simple to follow. One must meditate on Pranava. One must meditate on Omkara. This is just the introductory verse. Later on, he's going to tell us details about how this meditation is done. When we do this meditation, Mundaka Upanishad compares this meditation with the archery example. Very famous example in Mundaka Upanishad. If somebody asks you, what did you learn in Mundaka Upanishad, you should immediately say, archery example. I will tell you in brief before we go into the whole meditation process. I will just introduce to you how this meditation is done. What we do is we sit in a quiet place, and then we use Om, the sound Om, in our mind, and that sound is like the bow, which is used in a archery example. In the archery, there is an archer, there is a bow, there is an arrow, and there is a goal, the target. So when I chant Om, in my mind, I am thinking it is the sound Om, the instrument which I'm using to hit the target. In my case, the target is Brahman. So what I do is I chant Om and I stop. I chant Om and I stop. When I stop, it is not that I do nothing. When I stop, I am remembering the nature of Nirgunam Brahma. Remembering, there is something which is without any gunas. It is immortal. And I am that immortal self. This is how the meditation is done. The arrow is the jiva. The jiva is trying to hit Paramatma. It is trying to merge with Paramatma. So what really happens is there is silence in between the Om. That silence represents Brahman or Paramatma, Nirguna Paramatma. There is nothing in it. It is pure Brahman. Exactly like what in my sleep, I go into my Karana Shariram. The Karana Shariram has got all the seed of the entire world. And I am the experiencer of the Karana Shariram. That Sakshi is the same Sakshi I am trying to bring about in my meditation. If I practice this for a short while, the Upanishad says, you will subconsciously bring the truth in your own intellect, and you can abide in it for the rest of your life and gain the benefits which are explained in verses 64 to 78. So this is the broad outline. Now let us just go through these slides. The slides are slightly longer. I will go a little bit faster in some cases so that we can cover this entire 58 to 63 possible today itself. So that you have, you see, basically once you have understood that this is the overall, then you can read through the slides yourself. The notes are fairly easy. This Omkara, what I have explained to you is one type which is described in Mundaka Upanishad. There is another example of Omkara meditation, which is there in Mandukya Upanishad. That Mandukya Upanishad Omkara meditation is slightly advanced. So I will not spend too much on that, even though I have put some notes of that in these slides. I will not go too much into the depth because that will require a lot of explanation. So remember, Omkara can be meditation is called as Pranava meditation. Pranava means it is the first sound created in this universe. First sound. What is the first sound created in the universe? Om. Om. The Lord chanted this Om while creating the universe. That is what the Upanishads tell us. So Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya continues and Omkara Dhyanam is introduced to make that knowledge firm in my intellect. Mundaka Upanishad, now this is the start of the second chapter, second section. Second chapter is the most important chapter out of the 3 chapters. Mundaka has got two sections, 3 chapters, total six sections. So here we are talking about the second chapter. The first section dealt with Brahma Satyam Jagan Mithya. That topic is over. Now we are talking about Jivo Brahmaiva Naparaha. This Jiva is nothing but that Paramatma Brahman. That is what is the second chapter. That is where the Pranava meditation is being introduced. So that this oneness between Jiva and Paramatma is understood by a seeker. And not only understood, it is claimed. You see, the thing is, Mundaka Upanishad and all Upanishad you can study in 2 ways. You can just study and say, oh, this is what Mundaka Upanishad says. This is what, that is what students of philosophy will do. They will academically study. They will become scholars. The second way of studying Upanishad is, how am I going to use that in my own life? That is what our methodology is. As seekers, we are seeking the ultimate joy in this world, the ultimate bliss in this world. And all the Upanishad says the ultimate bliss, the permanent happiness, Nitya Sukham, is not outside, it is our inner core. The inner self is of the nature of permanent happiness. So with this type of meditation, if I'm successful, I will really reap the fulfillment in life. So the second verse, the actual verse which describes Brahman, is this verse, the second chapter, the second verse, second section. It is this I covered last week. This is what we should keep in mind, that this Brahman is self-luminous. It is imperishable. It is immortal. And this is what the mind of a jiva has to penetrate. So this is the target. And in the third mantra of the Upanishad explains third and the fourth. It explains how the meditation is carried out, which is what I explained to you now. So the four factors in an archery example is archer, bow, arrow, and the target. Bow is the instrument. The bow is the Omkara. The archer is the Jivatma. The arrow is the mind. And target is the Brahman. Now this mind should hit the target and then stay there. It should not fall off. You see, the target, when you hit the arrow, it should go and stay there. It should, in this case, the arrow should not fall down. That's what that is the example which we should consider. What are the preparations required? The arrow must be straight. If it is crooked, for example, if it's bent, it cannot travel properly. So similarly, my mind should have three factors. It should be straight, it should be sharp, it should be focused. That is why we do so many types of exercises of meditation itself. To sharpen the mind, to keep the mind focused in one area. So the Guru has to take the Jivatma to Paramatma. The bow is the instrument. The instrument could be the Shastra Vakyam, like Tattvamasi, I am Atma Brahma, Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. These are all the instruments which I can use. Omkara is one of the instruments. I can also use Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. That Brahman is Satyam, that Brahman is Jnanam, that Brahman is Anantam, which we will study in Taittiriya Upanishad. Arrow, what is arrow? I am the arrow. I means what? Here the Jiva's mind. And what is the target? The target is Brahman or Paramatma. We call it Brahman when it is without any guna. Nirgunam, then we call it Brahman. If it is with guna, we call it Paramatma or Ishvara. So the arrow has to cover a physical distance and reach. But in the case of a Jivatma, merging with Paramatma, there is no distance. This is the difference between the arrow example and the Omkara example. Paramatma, why there is no distance? Because Paramatma is all pervading. He is everywhere. When I say he is everywhere means what? It is that consciousness principle, existence principle, which is everywhere. It is throughout creation. So there is actually Jivatma is that principle, is that consciousness principle. That is what I have to learn. I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am consciousness, awareness. But today Jivatma thinks that he is the body. He thinks that he is the mind. Body and mind are only the medium. World is only a medium. Through this medium, I have to go and arrive at this Paramatma, which is without any medium, without the Karana Shariram. That is why the Karana Shariram and Karana Prapancha is extremely important. Many seekers, they miss this Karana Shariram. And then they get lost, completely get lost because they don't know how to reach this Brahman. Suppose you have missed one leg of the journey and you're trying to reach the destination, it's not possible. Sthula Shariram you can drop, Sukshma Shariram you can drop, but a Karana Shariram, I don't know what it is. Till somebody explains to me the undifferentiated status of me. It is not something else. Each one of you has got a Karana Shariram. That Karana Shariram is a potential condition from where I spring every day. Not very easy to understand this, but that is the only way the Upanishad explains to us. In advanced text, this Karana Shariram is given a great importance. Especially in Vichara Sagara, you will find when they discuss Tattvamasi, Karana Shariram is given a very big importance. You have to know what is that Karana Shariram and go beyond it. The moment you understand Karana Shariram well, then the whole Upanishadic literature becomes very easy because you realize your own nature. So any notion which we have about that I am the body or mind is because of that Karana Shariram, which I don't know. And beyond that is this I, which is called as Sakshi. So Shastra is the bow, which is the Omkara, and I conduct the spiritual journey using this Omkara. Omkara plays an important role in religious life because all our rituals we start with Om. Whenever you do any Agni Yajna, you always start with Om. And in spiritual life, Omkara is very important when you come to Mandukya Upanishad, because Mandukya Upanishad through Omkara lands us in Brahman. I will try to give you a short synopsis when we go through the slides of Mandukya, just for you to have some curiosity. So Omkara, Vichara is only possible only after you have Shravanam and Mananam. See, without Shravanam, without knowing what is Brahman, without knowing there is something called as Brahman or imperishable, self-luminous, self-evident, there is that nature of mind. Without that knowledge, you cannot do Omkara meditation. So before Vichara, it is just a simple sound meditation. But after Vichara, it is Brahma Vidya meditation. Okay, these are the same which I have explained to you before. There is a slight difference between what Shankaracharya takes in as the arrow and what Vidyaranya takes as the arrow. Shankaracharya takes Jivatma as the arrow, whereas Vidyaranya takes mind as the arrow. There is a slight difference. I just wanted to bring that to your attention. Prashant Atma Vigatabihi Brahmachari Prati Sitaha Manasamyamyam Machittaha Yukta Asita Matparaha. 6th chapter, 14th verse. The entire meditation process, if you want to understand, please go and revise the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Very, very important verse if you are a student of meditation. The whole chapter is focused. I have got in my videos the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. It is taken up, very well taken up. There are some videos of mine available there in the class folder. So here, the state of the mind is given before you start meditation. Serene-minded. You see, your mind should not be going in all directions. It should not be a preoccupied mind. With a preoccupied mind, you cannot do Omkara meditation. You can try, but slowly only you will be able to hold that Omkara. Evenness of the mind is yoga. That's what Lord Krishna taught in the 48th verse of the second chapter. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya siddha siddho samo bhutva samatvam yoga uchyate. This is the definition of what is yoga. Yoga means evenness of the mind. I keep my mind serene, calm throughout the day. This should be our goal in life. Today, my mind is very, very agitated. It could be, see, what happens is prarabdha karma brings situations and events in our life. And because of these events in our life, our mind gets into a turbulent stage. This turbulent stage can last for a few days, few months, few years also, for each one of us. But in this condition, what should I do? My attempt should be follow spiritual practices so that quickly I can come back to this samatvam yoga uchyate. These are all things which are required because this will help us to understand how to get into the atmosphere of meditation. So the intellect, again, Bhagavad Gita, the 5th chapter. Tat buddhyas, tat atmanaha, tat nishtat, tat prayanaha, gachanti punaravrittam janini dhuta kalmashaha. So the one who has achieved this self, this goal, he has no return. He has no return means what? He doesn't have rebirth. The prarabdha karma has given this body. But with the practice of this Omkara meditation, what will happen? You will know that my nature is not the body and mind. When the body has left, has dropped, you will not take another body because you know yourself. You know the self is pure. So after jnanam, mind should abide in Brahman. See, these are all the verses which help us to understand that ultimate state of Brahmanhood. Naiva kinchit karomiti yukto manyeta tattvavid pashyan shrinman sprishan gachan ashnan. So this verse says, let all the sense organs do their activities. But my subconscious mind, my deeper mind, never loses the sight of the target, which is Brahman. Like a musician, he's hooked to the tambura. Even though he may be singing different ragas, you know, when you attend a musical program, the singer his mind is always tuned to the tambura, which is the evenness. In that he goes up and down with all types of ragas. So similarly, when my mind is involved in the activities of the world, the tambura behind should be Aham Brahma Asmi. I am that pure consciousness. I am that pure consciousness. I am playing the role of a jiva with the body and mind. That should be the attitude. Another verse of equanimity of the mind. Arjuna complains to Lord Krishna saying that my mind is restless. Yoyam yogastvaya proktaha samyena madhusudana etasyaham na pashyami chanchalam vastiti stiram. This yoga of mind is not so easy to attain because it is involved with the restlessness of the mind. Lord Krishna tells us that it is not easy, but it is possible. See, what is the teaching? The teaching is Aham Brahmasmi. What is really experienced by me? I am a jiva, I am a jiva, I am a jiva, I am a mother, I am a father. This is the strong complaint of all the seekers. How can I do this type of meditation when I am involved in the activity? In every class, this question is asked. And the answer is given by Lord Krishna in this verse. He says, restlessness is the nature of the mind. But in this restlessness of the mind, ask the question, who is the witness of this restlessness? Somebody is watching this mind. That watcher, seer of the mind is consciousness. And that is my real nature. Whenever my mind is getting restless, I become one with the mind and then I suffer. It will happen because of prarabdha karma. But quickly we have to regain our balance. These are all possible when you do Omkara meditation. Otherwise, what will happen? I will continue to engage with the transactions without withdrawing from the transaction and claiming myself as Sakshi. Mandukya. Now, this I told you there is a second meditation which is taught in Mandukya Upanishad. I will cover it briefly here. I have some slides here just to give you a short glimpse of that. In Mandukya, Omkara consists of 3 alphabets: A, U, Ma. A, U, M. For those who are listening to this for the first time, just understand this, and then we will be studying in very big detail what is this A, what is this U, and what is this Ma. Om is a sound made of 3 syllables. The A part stands for waking state. U part stands for the dream state. M stands for the sleep state. So when I chant Om, I have to bring my attention to that substratum on which this waking, dream, and sleep are coming and going. That substratum is called as Turiyam in Mandukya. And that Turiyam is higher nature, Paramarthikam. It is not these 3 bodies, physical body, causal body, subtle body. It is beyond the 3 bodies. That is why it is called as absolute or Paramarthikam. The 3 bodies are called as Vyavaharikam, transactional. So there are 2 realities, transactional reality and absolute reality. Absolute reality is the silence Om. Transactional reality is the sound Om. This is how you do meditation based on Mandukya Upanishad. Mandukya talks about Vishwa, Virat, Taijasa, Hiranyagarbha, Prajna, Ishvara. All these things are details in Mandukya, which I will not take up now. It will take a long time to explain all that. But just to give you a glimpse of how you can do Omkara Upasana using Mandukya method, I just wanted to explain. This consciousness and existence, that is the nature of that target. And that is the ultimate absolute paramarthika. But what do I experience in this waking state or the dream state or the sleep state? I just get a reflection of that. That reflection is called as abhasa. See, all this is important. This knowledge is important because ultimately you're trying to do a meditation to find out the adhishtanam, the substratum of the entire universe. So when you take this Omkara meditation, you should know that there is a reflection of pure existence in this state also. So here itself, in the waking state, I can remain in that pure existence if I know how to come out of this vyavaharika level. It's possible. That is what all jnanis do. See, jnani, he also lives in the same world. But at any time, he can just withdraw and then go back to his real nature. You will not even notice that because he does it through his mind. How he does it is explained here. Because there is an abhasa, existence. In the waking state, it is a reflection of existence, reflection of consciousness. He understands the reflection as pure awareness and remembers the original consciousness which he knows through the Upanishads. Just as a side point, this text called as Anubhuti Prakasha, there is a person who is called as Muthu Krishna Shastrigal who has written a commentary on this Anubhuti Prakasha. Just for your information, I know this text is so profound that there are people who have written commentaries on this, like how Shankaracharya has written a bhashyam on the Upanishads, which everybody follows today. Similarly, Anubhuti Prakasha also there is a commentator. Okay, this revision I will not do it. You can just go through the slides if you're interested. This is just a revision of whatever I have taught so far. Okay, this is a diagram which will show you the arrow. Arrow is the buddhi or the jivatma. The bow is the omkara. You hit the arrow through the mind. When you chant om, you are hitting not nothing. You are hitting something called as Brahman. And then you have to remain there. Very important is remain for a split second before you chant the next om. Again chant, again stop. So Omkara meditation through this archery example is very famous in Mundak Upanishad. And striking it is claiming I am Brahman. The arrow, after the Om you chant, in your own mind, bring a thought, Aham Brahma Asmi. Om, let the silence come. Aham Brahma Asmi. This is the way you practice meditation. I hope this is clear. Okay, 59th verse. These are all the same topic goes on till the 63rd verse. Here, what he says is, it is the mind that is the arrow, the pranava is the bow, and Brahman is the target. See, what I have already explained to you in the first case, I have given you a complete detail. Vidyaranya is slowly building up the topic in 59, 60, 61, 62. But I have given you all whatever is said in these verses, so I'll go a little bit faster. So with diligence, it must be practiced. so that the mind will be fixed upon Brahman. See, the arrow should stay in that Brahman without any other thought coming in. See, suppose you suddenly start thinking of what I should be cooking, then that Omkara meditation is gone, Pranava meditation is gone. In Mandukya Upanishad, they give this seventh mantra as a holder of Brahman. In Mundaka Upanishad, what was told as it is self-effulgent, it is imperishable, it is nityam, it is beyond time, beyond space. The same thing in Mandukya Upanishad. I told you there are different ways in which you can hold on to Brahman. This is the description of the Brahman in Mandukya Upanishad. It is not consciousness of external world. It is not consciousness of the internal world of dream. It is not of no consciousness or blankness in sleep, but it is beyond all this, and that is what is called as Turiyam. Okay. Mahavakyam means it teaches me. I'm giving you a difference between what is called as Mahavakyam, Avantaravakyam. These are two technical terms, Sanskrit terms. Mahavakyam means it will tell me Tattvamasi, you are that. That means it gives me Aparoksha Jnana. Aparoksha means it is me, myself. That Brahman is me, myself. There is no distance between, it is not Paroksham or Pratyaksha. Paroksham means it is beyond my sense organs, distant. Pratyaksha means it is just in front of my sense organs. But what is Aparoksham? Aparoksham means it is me, myself. Directly I can say Aham Brahmas. What is Avantara Vakyam? Avantara Vakyam means it gives me details of what is that Brahman. Like Satyam Jnanam Anantam is a description of that nature of Brahman. Like the seventh mantra is also a description. It tells me that this is what is the description of that consciousness. Brahma Lakshana Vakyam Vakyani. Lakshana Vakyam. That is what is called as defining statements. Avantara Vakyam means defining statements. In some, when we study Upanishads, you will come across both types of statements. One is Mahavakyam, which is teaching me I am that Brahman. Avantara Vakyam is giving description of Brahman. Okay, so both you should learn and you should know the difference. And what we should use in Nididhyasana is Mahavakyam. The Avantara Vakyam you use in Mananam and Shravanam. That means, let the mind think about that type of Brahman. When you do that, it is distant. It is not me. There is something called as Brahman. Many of you will say that, is it really possible to do this type of meditation? Lord Krishna says, Shanai Shanai Ruparamet Buddhya Dhriti Grihiteya Atma Samstam Manakritva Na Kinchetapi Chintaye. Very, very beautiful statement in Bhagavad Gita. It says, little by little, you attain quietude. Let the mind be established in this self. In this self means what? In this Atma, in this inner core of my own personality. When you are thinking of that Atma, don't think of anything else. This is the method. This is the technique of meditation. See, when you follow the methodology given in the Bhagavad Gita for meditation, you will have no difficulty at all. You have to only follow the rules and practice. Abhyasa and Vairagyam. Vairagyam from the word Abhyasa means practice to remain in the self. And every time you're only invoking the substratum, which is called as Adhishthanam. See, what is this Brahman ultimately? It is the substratum. How, what is, can you give me an example of substratum? Yes, the waker is the substratum for the dream world. Similarly, for the waking world, there is a substratum which is called as Brahman. And that in that Brahman, in the waker, do you find anything of the dream? Nothing. So similarly, you know that in Brahman, when I say Aham Brahmasmi, at that time, what should I know? Nothing of this world should remain. I should be on my own as pure consciousness. It is not a mystic state. It is to do with knowledge. When you claim that, what happens? You're using the knowledge of Upanishads to understand your own nature. Next two verses, 60 and 61. Here, just a slight difference is made in the example. What here Vidyaranya says, you see, these are all the ways that Vidyaranya gives his touches to Mundaka Upanishad. You know, in Mundaka Upanishad statement will clearly say 1, 2, 3, but here he gives his fine touches. What is he giving the refinement here? The arrow should be implanted deeply in the target. Even when you pull out, the arrow has got two portions. One is the metal portion, another is the wooden portion. That is what he is now explaining to us. These are not explained in Mundaka Upanishad, but these are all the fine refinements of Vidyaranya Swami. The arrow may come out, but that metal portion remains with the target. When you hit the arrow, the metal portion remains, the arrow may come out also. So similarly, the mind, when it goes to that Brahman, it should remain in Brahman. If it remains in Brahman, what happens? The external activities can go on, but you are never away from that truth. That is what Vidyaranya is bringing in this beautiful two verses. So here, the two components are given, the wooden portion and the metal tip. The metal tip, normally we use an arrow to kill an animal, where we use a metal tip with some poison, and then it will penetrate the animal, and the animal will fall. This is used in the forest. But here what we should understand is that metal portion is like stuck in the subconscious mind. The metal tip is in Brahman, means what? My subconscious mind is hooked on that Brahman as pure awareness. This is the ultimate success of any meditation or nididhyasanam exercise. See, when you do this exercise continuously for a period of time, maybe 6 months, 3 months, 4 months, your mind gets soaked in that syrup called as Brahman. Your mind cannot come out of into the even though it will be acting in the world, but all the time it will be thinking Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi, Aham Brahmasmi. See, you can never forget that I am that pure awareness. That is the end result of Nididhyasanam process. What is this ahamkara, the ego I? It is only a costume which I wear to conduct transactions in this world as per the prarabdha karma of the body and the mind. But my real nature is I am the pure awareness. Keep remembering this all the time. That is the success of meditation. So if you pull hard, only the arrow part will come out, but the metal part is stuck with the target. That when it is stuck with the target means the Jivatma has merged with that Parama. That buddhi, that intellect has embedded, soaked in awareness of Brahman. Bhagavad Gita, Sparshan Krutva Bahirbahyan Chakshushaivantare Bhruvo Prana Pano Samo Krutva Nasabhyantira Charino. This is the verse on which the entire 6th chapter is written. The meditation has been written. It is the end portion of the 5th chapter, where Lord Krishna tells the process of meditation, how one should remain steady by keeping your breath calm in meditation. So keeping your sense organs under control, because of this meditation, you will be able to live in the world doing all transactions. Pashyan, Shrinvan, Sparshan, Jigran, all this will keep on going on. But the deepest part of the mind is anchored in what is called as my real nature. Okay? Na prahirte priyam prapya, no duje prapya cha priyam. Stira buddhira sammodaha brahmavid brahmani stitaha. This is the same, whatever we are learning in Mundaka Upanishad has been taught in Bhagavad Gita also. Stira buddhi, when the mind intellect is calm, it knows, it sees here also the knower of Brahman is talked about. That knower is not going to rejoice in the world when pleasant things come. He is not going to grieve when bad things happen. He is unperturbed in both the situations. That is the phalam. That is the fruit of meditation. So the jnani will look at prarabdha events for the ahamkara, but he will not say, I am the samsari, I am the ego, he will not say. He'll say, my ego is going through this, let it happen. Let the events happen, but I am not perturbed by these activities. This is the last verse, which is dealing with the meditation, pranava meditation. He who has activities in the form of seeing, hearing, and all that, and who is not overwhelmed by success or failure, is designated as liberated, muktaha, here and now. See, this will tell you the ultimate success of meditation. We all know what is Jivan Mukti. Jivan Mukti means that I don't consider I am a Jiva. I consider myself as Atma. Jiva Bhavana is not there. Atma Bhavana has come. Jnani is Jnana Nishta, Jivan Muktaha. In and through all Vyavahara. See, this is the most important thing. See, what is the difference between Jnani and Ajnani? Ajnani thinks he is the body and mind. He has got no clue of awareness. consciousness, permanent, immortal aspect of this universe. Whereas Jnani, all actions are going on, but he is not perturbed. Because of what? Because of this nididhyasana. Siddhi or asiddhi, whether he gains or he doesn't gain, whether he, whatever he wanted in life, siddhi means what? Whatever expected result you get. Asiddhi means what? You don't, whatever unexpected result, that also you get. In both these cases, the jnani is even-minded. See, you may expect 10% profit or 30% profit. Another person may expect 5%. But for him, 5% itself is big. In both the cases, whether you get 5%, 20% or nothing, if you have this jnanam, you are not going to be perturbed. Karma yoga is Ishvara prasada. That means what? The results, you take it as if it is a prasada from the Lord. In Jnana Yoga, what happens? You consider the results as events in the world. It is karma phalam. And you maintain the balance. Sukha-dukhe same kritva labha labho jaya jayo tato yuddhaya jujjasva naiva papam vapsasi. See, these are all again, I've today talked a lot about Lord Krishna's teachings in the Gita, because they're all talking about the evenness of the mind while living in the world. See, you're not talking about how, and how you get this evenness is because of this type of upasana. That's all. The whole 58 to 63rd verse, Pranava meditation, Omkara meditation, you should keep in mind the Bhagavad Gita shlokas and study these verses so that then you are able to do this nididhyasanam. These are all, motivational factors for us to understand, oh, is that possible? And these verses will say, yes, it is possible. For a jnani, the good or bad emotions, they do not belong to him. They belong to the mithya world. Now we understand anatma. This is anatma. What is Atma? Aham Brahmasmi is not touched by any of the notions or emotions. Atma is never touched by anything in the world. So in the 63rd verse, he gives the conclusion, one must pursue the meditation upon pranava in a matter set forth in the text called as Panchikaranam. This is one more verse which deals with this meditation topic. I will finish this and I'll stop today. And next week we'll go into the fruit of meditation. I have already explained to you Panchikaranam. I have explained to you the methodology initially itself. Panchikaranam is a method which is the method of Mandukya Upanishad. What I just talked about, the letter A stands for waking state, in which you are a Vishwa and you experience the Virat nature of the world. The Umatra stands in dreamer. When you are the dreamer, Taijasa, you are given a name called Taijasa when you are in the dream world. And the world which you experience is called as Hiranyagarbha, because it is coming from the totality of the totality of the mind. Virat means it is the totality of the physical cosmos. Dream world, you are looking at the totality of the entire mind world. That is what is the cosmic world of the dream, of the Taijasa. Then in the third ma matra, you are the sleeper, prajna. And then Ishvara is the experience. You are merged. Actually, they say that in the sleep state, you are merging yourself with Ishvara. Now, pravilapanam means dissolving the waking state into dream state, dissolving the dream state into sleep state, and then asking the question, who am I? At that time, you say, I am that pure awareness beyond the karana shariram of the causal body. Where does the pot resolve into? Pot resolves into clay, which is the material cause. Similarly, our body and mind and this world of Panchabhutas, where will they resolve? They will resolve to the cause, which is Chaitanya, which is consciousness. This is what we should understand. Pravilapana means resolution. The resolution ground for the material world of Panchabhutas is Brahman. Ultimately, where does this ego go? It goes and rests in Brahman. If we say that that is a substratum, this world which we experience, where does it get? Who is the lender of that existence principle to the world? It is that Brahman. So in the waking state, I am there as pure awareness. I, the Brahman principle, am lending existence to this universe. This is the way meditation is taught in Mandukya Upanishad. This is a slightly higher type of meditation. It will take a little bit of time to understand the nature of A, U, and Ma, and then you can do this meditation. Here, Vidyaranya brings us just to remind us that this type of meditation, which is also possible in Omkara. And this Dakshinamurti Stotram, Rahu Grasta Divakarendra Sadrishaha Maya Samachadanat Sanmatra Karanopi Samharanato Yobhuta Sushutta Puman Ragaswam Samiti Prabodha Samaye Yapratyabhijnayate Tasmai Shri Gurumurtaye Namaha. Sri Dakshinamurtaye. Very beautiful verse in Dakshinamurti. It says, when I am waking up, I remember that Dakshinamurti, which is the activator of my mind. And then I experience the world. If I can remember that Lord when I get up early in the morning every day, and remember, this mind is activated by another principle, which is the Lord principle, which is that consciousness principle. Without that principle, there is no world, there is no mind, there is no body. And this Dakshinamurti verse 6 says, during sleep, we are in our pure nature of pure existence. There is a proof, pramanam, that we are in our real nature in sleep state. What is the proof? This verse of Chandogya Upanishad, chapter 6, 8th section, first verse. Very famous verse in Upanishads. See, why I'm bringing these verses is because you should understand that the nature of our self is again and again, it must sink in our subconscious mind. It is that pure consciousness, pure existence, which lends existence to the sun, moon, stars, body, mind, senses, everything. And the jnani is always aware of that adhisthana. I also can be aware of the adhisthana after I study these verses which are given in Anubhuti Prakasha. So these are all the slides related to this is just a revision portion, which I have included in the notes, but I have explained to you these verses. This is a very beautiful verse in Maya Panchakam. You see, there are 5 verses connected to Maya principle, which is the Karana Sharira. And in the first verse, a very well quoted verse by Shankaracharya. And here, what does it say? Maya can make impossible things happen in consciousness. So it tells you the power of this Karana Sharira, of that undifferentiated state. My Maya Shakti has projected the Jiva Jagat Ishvara triangle format. Okay. In Vivek Chudamani, there are 40 verses which are purely for meditation, which I'm taking in my Wednesday, which I'll be taking in my Wednesday classes later on. So with this, I will close the section dealing with pranava meditation today. Next week, we will get into the new section from 64 to 78. And which is dealing with the fruit of meditation. See, these are all, we have already learned, now we are coming towards the end of the Anubhuti Prakasha. We will study what happens when we do meditation for a long time in this way. That is what will be explained in the next section. Basically, it is Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti. I will be free while living in the world, and when I drop my body, I will not have rebirth. The details of which we will study in all these 15 verses, 15, 18, 19 verses. Okay, now one announcement which I wanted to make is, I will be traveling on the 23rd of this month, and therefore the 19th Saturday, 19th November will be the session, the last session of this month, 19th November. So we have 2 more sessions, 12th and 19th. And after that, there will be no sessions. There will be 4 sessions. There will be 4 weeks where we will not have sessions because I'm traveling. So till the 24th, after the 19th November, the next session will be on the 24th of December. So 4 weeks, there will be no classes. I just wanted to make the announcement. I will put it up in the, after the last session of this month, I will be announcing, I will be sending you a message in the WhatsApp group. But just to give you in advance this notice that for 4 weeks, we'll not have Saturday classes. Similarly, also Wednesday classes will be missing those 3-4 weeks. Okay, with this, we'll close for today. And then if you have any questions, you can ask. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnaha Purnamudachade Purnasya Purnamadhaye Purnameva Vasishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.
Shekharji.
Yeah, tell me, Preeti.
Yes, you were saying about Karana Sharira.
Yes.
But you spoke that very briefly.
Yes,
Is it
I
okay
know.
to expand a little bit on that?
Yeah, see, this is a very, very important topic which many seekers they will miss it. See, Karana Shariram is not explained in these Upanishads in a big way. It is not, but only when you come to Vichara Sagara, this Karana Shariram is explained very well when we discuss in Vichara Sagara about Tattvamasi, where they discuss Mahavakyams. I'll explain to you. See, I will probably be touching on that more and more. But one thing I will explain to you, you will understand it. Karana Shariram, you see, for example, I experience this physical body in the waking state. I am a male, I am a female, this structure of mine I experience. So this realm of experience in the waking state is because I am identified with the physical body. Through the physical body, I am experiencing the physical world. When I say I am experiencing, you should remember this I is actually the consciousness principle. This is the first thing. You see, as a student seeker of Veda, as a spiritual seeker, you should not look at the physical body as yourself. You should say, I am a consciousness principle. I am the illuminator of the mind in the physical body. This is the first step. I am the illuminator. I am the consciousness principle. I illumine the mind with awareness. So the mind becomes sentient. This process, I will explain in much more detail in the next Upanishad. Most probably I'll be taking Keno Upanishad as my next Upanishad after Mundak. It is explained by Anubhuti, by Vidyaranya himself in Keno Upanishad. He'll explain this process, and he'll go into big detail of Karana Sharira. Let me proceed with the same method. So I am the consciousness. I am getting reflected in my mind. In this body-mind complex, I get reflected. The mind becomes aware. It becomes sentient. Sentiency is not the basic nature of the body. The body is only material. I am the sentiency principle. I'm the consciousness principle, which will make this body sentient. Sentient means what? This body by itself does not know anything. But because of the borrowed sentiency from consciousness, from that Brahman, that's Atma, this body becomes sentient, and then it experiences through the sense organs only. It will experience the world. What is the world outside, external world? External world, you should remember, is only coming in through the sense organs. This is how I should see the reality. Okay, so if you have understood the waking state, now what happens? You go to the dream state. In dream state, what happens? I am the same consciousness because I don't change. Upanishads tell me I am always immortal. I, the consciousness, am immortal. But for a jiva, what happens in that sleep state? The mind gets illumined and it experiences some impressions, some old impressions, and it creates its own world. So 2 states gone. Third state is not understood easily because my mind is still very gross. It is, you see, it's like using a knife. It's like using a knife by which I cut butter to cut a big tree. I cannot use the same knife. I need a big hammer. So my mind is like that butter's knife today. I need a bigger one to go into that, to investigate karma, sharira, and go beyond. That is why I find it difficult. But let me understand the theory part. What is the theory? What does Vidyaranya say in that Kena Upanishad? Well, he explains this. What he says is, first you understand the sleep state. Every day we go to sleep. You just say, I had a good sleep, I had a nice sleep, and we just forget about it. And we just start living our normal waking state and so on. But Vidyaranya says, study that sleep state carefully now. When you study that sleep state, now in the Jagrata Avastha, what will you think about that sleep state? You will say that I didn't experience anything. It is a state in which there was nothing. There was only blankness. That is what most of the students will say. There is only blankness in sleep. What Vidyaranya says is, don't think it is blankness. This is a very important step. The sleep state is a phenomena of the world where the whole world goes into a seed condition. That seed condition is called as Karana Avastha. Like you can see in a seed, you can see the whole banyan tree. If you know that the seed is got the potential to become such a big tree, to grow over a period of time. So similarly, what Vidyaranya teaches us in Kena Upanishad, he says, Karana Shariram is a phenomena. It is happening in the universe. It is happening in the material universe. The Panchabhutas have the ability to go into this Karana Sharira. This is what is called as Maya Shakti. This is what you see. Sometimes you don't understand what is Maya Shakti. But Maya Shakti means what? This consciousness has got the power to bring this whole creation into the seed state. You can understand this only when you say Aham Brahmasmi. When you are a jiva, you will not understand this very clearly. You will only say, I have got avidya, I can only create a tree. But when you shift your attention from jiva bhava to brahma bhava as I am consciousness, then you will start understanding that as consciousness, I have a Shakti which is called as Maya Shakti. This is a big leap from Jiva Bhava to Brahma Bhava. Very big leap, but human intellect can go and do this leap. It's possible. Vidyaranya says it is possible. Understand as a Jiva, just understand I am living in a world in which the world goes into a seed condition and it springs up from the seed condition into waking condition. Every day it is happening, but I am not realizing this. My sense organs will not be able to convey this knowledge to me. It is only the Upanishad which will convey this knowledge. I'm talking to you of a very subtle process which is happening in the universe. A subtle mind can grasp this and can accept this as the truth. So, very simply put, you should just say, that in my mind, I should consider my sleep state is a state in which I myself am experiencing the potential condition of the universe. This I can understand. Forget about Maya, Shakti, Brahman and all that. But at least I can understand, I am there or not in the sleep state? Yes. So that I, which is existing in the sleep state, is experiencing the Karana Sharira. Karana Shariram is a part of this physical body, subtle body, causal body complex. It is not outside me. It is not outside the jiva. The jiva has got these three states, which he is experiencing every day. What Vidyaranya says is, become aware of that condition where you are there and the world is in a potential condition, the seed condition, and then realize that I, which is existing, is Brahman, or what we call it as Chaitanya. That is what is the nature of Chaitanya. That is what is the real self. So much you should understand when you are doing spiritual study. And then what happens? Then the Mahavakyam will come and say that Sakshi is nothing but Brahman. That Sakshi is the same as Jagat Karanam Brahman. This teaching will happen in Mahavakyam. Whenever we study Mahavakyam, you will understand this equation. Okay? Have I gone over your mind?
Yes, Shekharji. Very,
it's very profound. It's very profound,
yes.
Very deep. But listen to it. When you keep listening to it, you will get it, you know?
Yes. So, Shekharji, based on this, can we say that in sleep state, I go in a way into unmanifested condition, and then when I wake up, I manifest again?
Yes, that's correct. But here, when you say I, means you're still taking the jiva which is coming and going. Okay? Which is your experience also, right? See,
yes.
That experiencer is the same. See, it is not the something else. As a jiva only, you experience, I am the jiva. I have got two states now. So you have come up to this level, right? I am the jiva. I am in my manifest condition in the waking state. I am in the unmanifest condition in the sleep state. This you are able to accept, correct?
Yes.
So stay in this base for some time. Just stay in this. At least let the mind accept that there is an unmanifest condition and I live there. This is like the, when you're climbing the Mount Everest, there are 4 levels. At 5,000 feet, there is a base camp. At 15,000 level, there is another base camp. And 25,000, there is another base camp before you climb the Mount Everest, So right now, remain in this first. For some time, let your mind sink in. This is I would like to suggest for all of you, whatever Preeti has said, let that, if you all accept that I have a manifest state and I have an unmanifest state. Let this idea sink into your mind for some time. Yeah, Shanmugam, can you check where is the disturbance? Okay, so for all of you, just try to understand and remain, at least accept this first level. Okay, then slowly we'll climb the next step. So what you have done is, waking state has gone into sleep state. A matra has gone into ma matra in Om. U matra is in the middle, that is the dream state. You are resolved the waking state into the sleep state. This is called as pravilapanam. Pravilapanam means resolution. See, these are all mental exercises, because ultimately it is only your mind which will wake up to the knowledge of Brahma. Nothing else. It is only your intellect. It is an intellectual study. Like you have study of the different objects and different aspects of the external world which you study, similarly, it's a study of the spiritual study. In this study, only thing is you're going deeper into your own mind, intellect, instrument. At some point, you have to drop this instrument. I will tell you when you come into that stage, I will tell you now you have to drop the instrument. Okay, so Preeti, is that clear?
Yes, Shekharji, thank you very much. And also now that I'm thinking more, another thing came to my mind is that just what you explained very profoundly. So anything added to I is adhyasa then, isn't
Absolutely.
it?
Yes, it is adhyasa. Everything, you see, there is something called as, that is what is, see, because you have heard the adhyasa bhashyam, now you're able to relate.
Yes.
You see, because you have that knowledge of adhyasa bhashyam, now you're using that knowledge back here into these Upanishads, which is very good. So anything to do with I plus something is adhyasa. And removal of this adhyasa is the ultimate goal. Is it clear?
Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good, very good. Anybody else has any other questions?
Yes, I have one question.
Yeah, Manikandan.
Yeah, when you talk about I plus something is adhyasa. So always we have adhyasa only. Our life, from morning to evening, we never experience without adhyasa. So how we can separate the I from the adhyasa?
Good. Good question. I mean, this is a very, very common and a very practical question. I'm glad that you are asking this question, because, see, only when my mind gets into that peep, I call it a peep into reality. When the mind, through the study of Upanishads, while the study is going on itself, in the Shravanam state itself, the mind gets training to look at Atma. You see, what happens is, we have a conscious mind and we have a subconscious mind. Conscious mind is always looking at the world and reacting to the world. Whatever I need to do right now, I do it. I have to eat breakfast, I have to eat dinner, I have to go, I have to run, I have to jog, I have a profession, I have a role. So conscious mind is always involved with the body and the mind. This is conscious mind. You should know what is a conscious mind and what is a subconscious mind. So conscious mind will be involved in the waking state, whether you like it or not, it will be involved. You cannot change it. That is creation. So you will be, what you should do is, the more you study and your knowledge of this pure consciousness through the study, when it becomes slightly deeper, when you listen again and again, what happens is this gets more embedded into your subconscious mind. Only when it reaches that subconscious mind, then you will have a notion. While dealing with the world itself, you'll start having the notion, I am awareness, consciousness, my body and the mind are playing a role as per prarabdha karma. This is a second stage which will happen. Then your mind becomes slightly more subtle. A subtle mind becomes more pure. A pure mind will get the reflection of awareness. Once that reflection becomes slightly better, it becomes sattvic. That's what we call it as a sattvic mind. So just wait. The only answer I can tell you is, it is not difficult, but slowly you have to, like how Lord Krishna said in the 6th chapter, Shanai Shanai Ruparame. That means every minute, every moment of your time, whenever you have a split second, think of that awareness. That is the way to build that awareness principle in you. When you become conscious of the awareness principle itself, what happens is your mind gets reminded of that knowledge. That means you're bringing that vritti of Atma again and again in your mind. So when you do that, a stage will come when you yourself will say, I am Atma, body is acting in this world as per prarabdha karma. But till that time, let it be a deliberate, conscious process of remembering your nature. I am Atma. Just say it a couple of times during the day. In your own mind, I am Atma. See, this will help me in my spiritual study. It will help me in my understanding of the Upanishads. These are all the practical tips which we get from people who have gone through the same journey. Okay, am I clear, Manikandan?
Thank you. Yes, thank you, Sagar. It's very much useful.
Thank you.
Definitely. Thank you.
Yeah. Anybody else has any other question?
So Shekharji, this is like those who are Jivan Mukta.
Yes.
They remain in this kind of state, no? Always abiding in the I only.
Yes. Jivan Mukta, which you will see from the next week, we are going to discuss that. I'm going to do in a very fast way the fruit of meditation. We are going to cover this 15 verses, 64 to 78. Next week, you are going to study what is that Jivan Mukta state. See, Jivan Mukta state is a state attained when you have Aham Brahma Asmi in your mind well embedded. What is the meaning of that? It means that throughout the day I remember my nature. That's all. I am Atma. Who has taught me this? It is the Lord himself has taught me. The creator of this whole universe has taught me this. I am following Veda. Veda is a pramana. And it is teaching me I am pure consciousness. In this consciousness only, the whole world is appearing and disappearing. I accept it. That's all. And I start believing in it, and you will see the impact of it in your life. You will definitely see the impact, and that is what is called as Jivan Mukta. Jivan Mukta state means the mind still is functioning in the world, but I am not taking that mind to be myself. That is the difference. A jnani is a Jivan Mukta. Ajnani is a samsari. The difference is Ajnani takes himself to be the mind. Oh, I am suffering. I suffered last week. Again, next week, I don't know what's going to happen to me. All that, that notions in the mind is what is called as samsara. A Jivan Mukta means that notion of samsara will not come. The sense organs will go through the motion of the experiences. It will go through. It is a natural process of the body. You see, that is what is called as Ishvara Srishti. That is, let the nature, let the world continue. I am not affected because I don't have Jiva Srishti anymore. Is it clear, Preeti?
Yes, Shekharji, thank you. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Anybody else has any other question?
Hi, Shekaji. Namaste.
Yeah, Bharat.
I'm sorry I missed the first part of the session due to the time change in London. I wanted to ask you something. We start off knowing the world, knowing the mind, and using the teachings. We use neti to negate and to understand that we're not that, we're experiencing. And in the deep sleep state, it's pointed out that it's a positive experience of absence. It's something what you just said a moment ago about Maya Shakti. That ability to negate, is that the Maya Shakti in kind of in reverse? It's that ability to say, not me. So effectively, the adhyasa that we experience, it's our Shakti.
Yeah.
It's our Shakti that we can do that, right?
Yes. See, in the Shastra, they also talk about Vidya Maya, Avidya Maya.
Yep.
So what you're talking about is Vidya Maya. True Vidya, see, what you're saying is, it is just a reverse. Maya Shakti is active in the Ajnani. Whereas for a Jnani, he is reversing that Maya Shakti and saying that it is Vidya Maya. He is also using Maya Shakti only.
Yes.
So that is what is called as Vidya Maya.
Understood.
And they say in the Shastra, this is again said in the scriptures, Vidya Maya has the capacity to block the Avidya Maya.
Right.
And therefore, I am able to realize myself.
But both Vidya Maya and Avidya Maya is known.
Yes, it is a tussle between Vidya Maya, Avidya Maya for a seeker.
Hence, I am other than that.
Yes, I am not this Maya at all. Maya is a phenomena which is happening in this whole universe. It is, I have no control on this. It is a Maya is a principle, and it is all through the knowledge of the Veda. I understand all this. Remember, it is the Veda which is the Pramanam. It is the instrument which tells me I am of the nature of consciousness, which is not affected by Maya.
If I can, I'm not sure whether this is quite correct or not, but I'll state. So Maya, as experience, whatever is experience is Maya. But even the Ajnanam, there is that ignorance of not knowing who I am. originally we start off with that. But the scriptures, they point out that consciousness, pure consciousness, is nirguna, it's ever free, and that makes absolute perfect logical sense. It has to be, otherwise who would know? Therefore, this individual ego, I, is also the Maya, the ignorance. So in that sense, that ego, that individual I, is also seen, it's also dropped. You experience it. It's part of Prakriti, it's part of the field.
Yes, that's correct. It is a part of Prakriti. That is exactly what I was explaining in the beginning, which you missed. You know, when I was explaining, yeah.
Yes.
Maybe you can go through the video once you get it. See, what I was telling was Swami Vidyaranya in Keno Upanishad, he gives a beautiful explanation of this Karana Sharira. If my intellect can absorb this fact, fundamental fact, that the whole experiences which I have of the body, of the mind, and the world, in the sleep state, all these experiences are in a seed state. They all go to unmanifest condition. And from that unmanifest condition only, because of prarabdha karma, the body, mind again comes back into this waking world and it experiences, and it is going back into the Karana Sharira. Again, next day it comes into the waking world, again goes back. This is a phenomena. It is happening in reality. But I am not this Karana Shariram, is a knowledge which I get from the Veda. Veda says, right in Tattvabodha itself, it says, I am not the Sthula Shariram, Sukshma Shariram, Karana Shariram. At that time, when I learned the Tattvabodha, I didn't understand the depth of this Karana Shariram. Now Vidyaranya teaches me Karana Shariram is a seed state of my own seed state. When I say my own seed state, it means I'm talking as a jiva, which is what Preeti was also coming back.
Right.
As a jiva only, I am coming, when I use the term, I am coming back in the waking state. I am now referring myself as a jiva. This
Right.
jiva is a reflection of that consciousness.
Yes.
It is not, it is only a reflection of consciousness. And this jiva is given the knowledge by the Upanishad, and it's the knowledge it gets from the Upanishads is, you are not the Karana Shariram. It is a very powerful message of the Upanishads. The moment the jiva understands, I am not the Karana Shariram, immediately it will realize I am the reality, which is beyond the Karana Shariram. It is ever there. It is immortal. It is the nature of Sakshi immediately reveals itself as the self-evident, self-existent principle in this entire cosmos. It is there.
Would it be fair to say that just like the original face and the reflected face, the
Yes.
reflected face is simply your prarabdha karma?
Yes. The reflected face realizes that I am not the reflection, I am the original consciousness,
Yep.
which is always shining. I am immortal. All these messages of the Upanishads, they become a reality for me. As a jiva, that message of the Upanishads becomes a reality for me. And then I become free. The jiva has been thinking all the time, I am the jiva, because of ignorance in the intellect. It is not, you see, it is only a notion. It is only a thought which is coming in the mind of a person. That thought will not come. And that is what Manikandan was asking. How do I remain practically with this knowledge? This happens when the knowledge sinks into the subconscious mind. Then what happens? I always remain as Atma, abide as Atma, the pure consciousness principle. I am no longer a samsari. The disturbances in the waking world will not affect me. And this is the ultimate, it is the ultimate teaching of the Upanishads. Once this happens to you, you will know it, because this is experienceable. Upanishads are telling you that there is your nature and it is experienceable joy. It is experienceable bliss. This is it is not invisible. It is not adrishta phala. It is drishta phala. Moksha is a drishta phala. It is realizable, and therefore jnanis can come and teach others also. See, if it was, you see, you realize this is the truth, you find there is a lot of joy in this. Therefore, you will take pains to explain to the other people. You know, even if it is 2, 3, 4, 5 people, you will explain to them and say, this is the truth. I have realized it. I want you to realize it.
I just wanted to add that in I'm still going through Panchadashi chapter 3, and there's a comment that was in the notes. Chapter 3 is absolutely superb, but there's a certain comment about in the Brahma Sutra where, I'm just paraphrasing, I may have written it down incorrectly, but when the desire to know is gone, Brahman remains. I thought that was a stunning statement.
Yeah, that's correct.
Because Vedanta is a pleasure, absolute pleasure. The teachings are amazing.
Yeah, because you see, you no longer want you no longer have a desire to know Brahman, because you have realized it. See, that is what is the bliss of a jnani. You know, whatever the Upanishad wanted to, I have studied 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and whatever the Upanishad wants to convey to me, I have known it. See, it's a joy for me. That's it.
Amazing. Thank you.
Very good. But I'm glad you're bringing it. This reflection theory is what you are saying is what ultimately is accepted by Shankaracharya in Vichara Sagara, even though he gives 3 methods: Avachedavada, Abhasavada, and Pratibhimbavada. These are the ultimate 3 ways to realize yourself. But then only one method is used finally by Shankaracharya, which is Abhasavada. Okay, that is the reflection theory. So the more we meditate on, I am in my waking state, I'm just a reflection of that consciousness, which I'm experiencing in my sleep state.
It's whatever can be used by the intellect to understand.
Yes,
whatever
yes,
works.
Correct. Yeah, whatever works for you. That's it.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay.
Shekhar.
Yeah,
Shekharji. So going back again to the seed. So once Atma, the self is realized, all the stalks, the way of manifestation in the seed is burnt, which is your karma, your tendencies, everything. So that seed cannot again manifest.
That's correct.
Okay.
It cannot manifest, but there is a small tweak to that. The tweak is, whatever is prarabdha karma, you cannot stop.
Yes.
Your sanchita karma, that is what we are going to discuss. You see, the thing is that you're always going one lecture ahead of me, you know. I don't know how you do it, but your questions are all related to the next talk. But anyway, it's good. So what happens is, this is explained in Kathopanishad, and it's also explained in Vivek Chudamani, where it says that the Sanchita karma is burnt. Agami will not, you will avoid Agami. You know, in terms of 3 karmas, Sanchita is burnt. It becomes like a roasted seed. All the Sanchita, you see, roasted seed, if you plant it in the ground, it will not germinate. Similarly, our mind. Once the mind has got, the avidya is gone from the mind, what happens is ignorance is gone. The mind has realized its nature. It will not take future births. But the current birth, it cannot do anything. The current birth, whatever your karma is there, you have to go through the prarabdha karma. You have to go through the current karma, but again, only the scriptures are the proof for all this.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Thank you, Shekharji.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Shekharji.
Bolo, why?
I just want to know regarding these 3 gunas, is it?
Yeah.
Lord Krishna says no human can escape it. Is it?
Correct. See, what you should, Bolo.
So is it referring to Jani's also regarding this
Yes.
issue?
Yeah. See, the way you should understand is, for a jnani, the 3 gunas are not binding. They do not disturb a jnani. It will be there in a jnani. See, jnani will also have sattva guna, rajas guna, tamo guna. Okay? He will also sleep like you and me. He will also be active in the world like you and me. But the main thing is, the 3 gunas, for you and me, we are affected by the 3 gunas. Because we do not know our nature, we take the 3 gunas as our nature. When the mind is rajasic, you say, I am rajasic now. You know, I don't know, I'm so disturbed today. Morning to evening, I was disturbed. And then again, I think about it. Why was I disturbed? Why did I scold that fellow? Why did I become angry? These type of thoughts will not be there in a jnana. He will not relive his experiences again and again like you and me. You know, when I was 5 years old, somebody scolded me, and then I'm still thinking about it. I've not forgotten. I've not forgiven that fellow also. That fellow is, that fellow is 80 years old. I am 75 years old. I have still not forgotten that fellow. I have not forgiven him. And I'm still thinking, I will make sure the next birth I will again make sure that he gets his result, So basically the 3 gunas, you should know, they are there in the world. The body is made up of 3 gunas. The mind is made of 3 gunas. The 3 gunas will be active. Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas will be there. Only the proportion of Sattva guna will be higher in a jnani. Why it will be higher? Because the jnani has again and again listened to the scriptures, has made his mind subtle and subtle.
Yeah, that's the difference between.
So you see, you have listened to Bhagavad Gita, Upanishad for the last 8 years. You have been coming for these classes for 8 years now. So I can see a huge difference in you. When you were 8 years ago, when you came in, and today, your mind is much more subdued compared to what it was before. So this is a change which we find as your mind becomes sattvic. So we should not aim to make our mind completely zero rajasic and zero tamasic. It's not possible. We can reduce our rajas by increasing our puja, by increasing our spiritual exercises, japa, by listening more and more to Shastra, by chantings. We can reduce our mind. That is what we should aim for. Am I clear? Bhagwai, is it clear? Okay. Anybody else has a question? Okay. Thank you and good night to everybody. Thank you and good morning or good night. I don't know. Some people have just woken up. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sumana, is the time difference also affected you?
Not yet. I think it's next week, yeah, for us.
For you, it's next week.
Next week, yeah.
Oh.
Shekharji, there is a question in the chat by Vijaya.
By Vijaya. Oh. Okay, Vijaya is asking, Vasana share will eliminate Agami, Jnana burns Sanchita, Prarabdha will any case exhaust in this birth. So Vasana share is the key to break a loop of desire and related karma, and hence karma bandhana. This will end transmigration. Is this right? Yes. Yeah, Vijay, this is absolutely right. This is taught in Vivek Chudamani in a very beautiful way. What you have said is a crisp form of what is taught in Vivek Chudamani. Is absolutely right. We are going to do the same thing next week. When we are going to do the benefit of meditation, how avidya granthi is broken. The knot of avidya with kama and karma, that three, yeah, avidya granthi, hridaya granthi, when it is broken, we will see a completely different benefit, which is the Jivan. Okay, good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. And I'll see you all next week. Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Thank you.